Check your nickels. Some 5-cent coins from 1975, 1994, and even 2015 could be worth much more than face value if they have rare mint errors or are in top condition. Your pocket change might be hiding real treasure. The 1975 Jefferson nickel, a 5-cent coin that many people have overlooked for decades, has recently gained surprising attention among collectors and enthusiasts. On the surface, it may look just like any other coin from the mid-1970s, a piece of change that easily slips through your fingers without a second thought. Yet, hidden among the ordinary examples of this coin are rare and unusual varieties that have skyrocketed in value, sometimes commanding prices ranging from $52,000 to an astonishing $135,200 at auctions. For a coin that people often dismiss as almost worthless, the story of the 1975 5-cent piece demonstrates how small errors, subtle minting details, and pristine preservation can turn pocket change into treasure. To understand why the 1975 nickel is so compelling, we need to look back at its background. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel, and it has remained in production ever since, making it one of the longest-running series in U.S. coinage. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, while the reverse showcases Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate. For decades, this design remained unchanged until it was replaced in 2006, meaning that the 1975 issue falls squarely into the classic period of Schlag's design. BY 1975. America was going through significant cultural and political change. The Vietnam War was nearing its end, and the U.S. was approaching its bicentennial celebration. Yet, despite these historical shifts, the U.S. Mint continued to strike coins for everyday commerce at an incredible pace. Hundreds of millions of Jefferson nickels were minted in 1975 at both the Philadelphia and Denver facilities. Most of these coins circulated heavily, showing wear and tear within just a few years. However, a small fraction of these nickels either escaped circulation in mint state condition or were struck with unusual errors that make them exceptionally rare today. Errors are where the true intrigue lies. Collectors are constantly searching for coins that exhibit mistakes in their production, as these accidents often lead to great rarity. In the case of the 1975 nickel, errors like off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, and full steps varieties are what bring in the biggest premiums. Off-center strikes occur when the blank planchet is misaligned during the minting process, causing the design to appear shifted. The degree of the off-center error directly affects the coin's value, especially if the date remains visible. A 1975 nickel with an extreme off-center strike but a legible date could be a highlight in any collection and might easily fall within the $52,000 to $135,200 range at auction depending on its condition. Another type of rare error is the double strike, in which a coin is struck more than once by the dies. This can create overlapping images of Jefferson's portrait or Monticello, giving the coin a dramatic and unmistakable look. Double strikes from the 1970s are scarce, and examples from 1975 in top condition are highly prized. Clipped planchets are yet another fascinating error. When the blank metal discs are cut from the sheet, sometimes they overlap or are cut incorrectly, leaving coins with missing crescent-shaped sections. A 1975 nickel with a prominent clip can be highly collectible, especially if the error is dramatic. Perhaps the most desirable aspect of Jefferson nickels, however, is the full steps designation. On the reverse of the coin, Monticello features a staircase with 6 steps. On most circulated or weakly struck coins, these steps appear mushy and blended together. But on certain nickels, including rare examples from 1975, the steps are fully visible and sharply defined. These are known as full steps nickels, and they are among the most coveted pieces in the series. Because striking quality in 1975 was generally inconsistent, finding a full steps example is incredibly rare. High-grade full steps 1975 nickels certified by professional grading companies can bring record-breaking prices. And it is in this category where coins have fetched sums approaching $135. 200. Condition is another critical factor in determining value. Most 1975 nickels have been through decades of circulation, accumulating scratches, dings, and discoloration. These common examples remain worth only their face value of 5 cents. However, pristine uncirculated examples graded MS66, MS67, or higher are extremely rare, and when paired with the full steps designation or a notable error, their value skyrockets. Auction houses have recorded remarkable sales of Jefferson nickels from the 1970s, with 1975 being one of the standout years. Stories of collectors uncovering nickels tucked away in old rolls or finding extraordinary errors in collections add to the coin's mystique. When a 1975 Jefferson nickel in top grade crosses the auction block, collectors and investors compete fiercely, driving prices to levels few would expect for a coin that most people overlook. The sight of such a common denomination commanding tens of thousands of dollars captures attention not only within numismatic circles but also among the general public. One of the most compelling aspects of the 1975 nickel is that it embodies the idea that treasure can be hiding in plain sight. People across the United States handle nickels daily without realizing that a small number of them might be worth life-changing sums. For those who take the time to study coins, learn about varieties, and recognize errors, the payoff can be extraordinary. It is also important to note that the Jefferson nickel series has long been underestimated compared to other denominations like the penny or quarter. However, within the nickel series lie some of the most fascinating rarities, including full steps varieties that can rival the value of rare gold coins. The 1975 issue is a perfect example of this overlooked potential. Collectors often emphasize the educational value of searching through coins. The 1975 nickel encourages patience, attention to detail, and knowledge of minting processes. By understanding how errors occur, what distinguishes full steps, and how condition impacts value, collectors can better appreciate the artistry and challenges of U.S. coin production. The story of the 1975 5-cent coin also connects us to a broader narrative of American history. At a time when the nation was preparing for its bicentennial and navigating social change, everyday objects like the nickel carried the faces and landmarks of the past into the future. Holding one of these coins today is not just about its metal content or its face value but about its connection to a specific moment in history. When people hear that a 1975 nickel can be worth between $52,000 and $135,200, it sparks curiosity and excitement. It challenges assumptions about what is valuable and reminds us that rarity and condition often matter far more than denomination. The hunt for such coins becomes not only a financial pursuit but also a journey of discovery, linking collectors to history, design, and the unexpected quirks of mass production. Ultimately, the 1975 Jefferson nickel is more than just a coin. It is a testament to the unpredictability of numismatics and the thrill of finding value in unexpected places. From dramatic mint errors to elusive full steps examples in gem condition, this small 5-cent piece holds the potential to astonish both collectors and the casual observer. And for those fortunate enough to uncover one of these rarities, the reward can be nothing short of extraordinary, turning a simple nickel into a prized treasure worth tens of thousands of dollars. The 1994 Jefferson nickel might seem like just another coin that millions of Americans carried around in their pockets, but in the world of coin collecting, it has earned a reputation for being one of the more fascinating modern issues. It represents a blend of history, artistry, minting quirks, and collector demand that together have transformed certain examples of this coin into treasures worth far more than their face value. While the vast majority of 1994 nickels are worth 5 cents, some extraordinary pieces have shocked collectors and auction bidders alike by reaching values between $45,000 and $122,500. That number alone makes you look at your pocket change differently, doesn't it? To understand why this coin has such appeal, we first need to look at the coin's design and background. The Jefferson nickel has been in circulation since 1938, featuring the portrait of the third U.S. President, Thomas Jefferson, on the obverse, created by artist Felix Schlag. On the reverse, for decades, we see Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, standing as a symbol of American heritage. By 1994, the Jefferson nickel had already been in circulation for more than half a century, making it one of the longest-running designs in American coinage history. This kind of consistency means that small varieties and errors really stand out to collectors because they break the pattern of what everyone expects. Now, the 1994 nickels were struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Billions were produced, so on the surface, rarity doesn't seem like something that should apply to this coin. But this is where numismatics becomes so interesting. Rarity isn't just about how many coins were made. It's about how many survive with unique features or in extraordinary condition. That's where the 1994 nickel shines. Collectors are drawn to error coins, and the 1994 nickel has produced some of the most desirable errors of the modern era. Double die obverse, off-center strikes, die cracks, and misaligned dies all create versions of the 1994 nickel that break away from the ordinary. One particularly dramatic example shows Jefferson's portrait doubled in a way that is visible to the naked eye, turning a coin worth a nickel into one worth thousands. When these types of errors are combined with high-grade preservation, their value skyrockets into that jaw-dropping $45,000 to $122,500 range. Condition plays a massive role in determining the value of the 1994 nickel. Most of these coins circulated heavily, picking up scratches, wear, and damage. Uncirculated examples that were carefully preserved in rolls or coin sets are much scarcer. Among those, finding coins that grade at MS67 or higher is a true challenge. Collectors know that the difference between MS66 and MS67 can mean thousands of dollars, while an MS68 can be life-changing. This obsession with condition is why grading companies like PCGS and NGC have such a vital role in the hobby. When a 1994 nickel in exceptional condition comes to market, the bidding wars begin. Auction houses have witnessed the excitement firsthand. Stories of a simple nickel turning into a $50,000 or $100,000 windfall capture the imagination of collectors and everyday people alike. One of the most engaging aspects of the 1994 nickel story is how it remains accessible. You don't need to be digging through ancient coin hoards or elite collections to encounter one. They can still turn up in circulation, in a forgotten coin jar, or tucked away in a drawer. This accessibility makes the treasure hunt real and tangible, fueling the passion of coin roll hunters who dream of stumbling upon one of these extraordinary nickels. There's also the cultural aspect of the Jefferson nickel. By the 1990s, Americans had become used to the steady, unchanging appearance of their 5-cent coins. When varieties like the 1994 double die surfaced, it disrupted expectations. Collectors loved it because it gave them a modern rarity to chase, something that added excitement to a series that was, for decades, seen as predictable. It also showed that even in a time when minting technology had advanced, errors could still slip through the cracks and create history. Think about the thrill of finding one of these coins. You start with a simple nickel, something most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up if they saw it lying on the sidewalk. Then, you discover it's a rare error or a flawless high-grade piece, and suddenly that nickel transforms into something worth $45,000 to $122,500. It's the ultimate reminder that value often hides in plain sight. Collectors who pursue the 1994 nickel are often struck by how deceptively normal it looks. Unless you know what you're looking for, the wide world of mint errors and subtle varieties could pass you by. That's part of the magic of this hobby. Education turns ordinary change into potential treasure. Those who dedicate the time to learning how to spot errors and grade condition gain a real advantage, turning what seems like chance into a skillful hunt. The 1994 nickel also fits into a larger story about the evolution of modern U.S. coins. By the mid-1990s, the U.S. Mint was gearing up for the release of the 50-state quarters program, which launched in 1999 and shifted public attention to quarters. Nickels weren't in the spotlight, which makes it all the more fascinating that a coin from this era has carved out such an important place in collecting circles. It stands as a reminder that every denomination has its surprises, and sometimes the least expected coins become the most talked about. Another fascinating element is how collectors view the market for the 1994 nickel. Some see it as a modern gem, underappreciated compared to older rare nickels like the Buffalo nickel or the early Jeffersons from the 1930s and 1940s. Others see it as a sign of the growing interest in modern coinage, where errors and varieties are no longer dismissed but celebrated. What unites them all is the acknowledgement that this coin has proven itself capable of extraordinary value. For those who wonder how to identify a potentially valuable 1994 nickel, the key lies in both variety and condition. Check for doubling on the obverse, particularly in Jefferson's portrait and inscriptions. Look for off-center strikes where the design is visibly misaligned. Study the surfaces for die cracks or unusual features. And most importantly, consider the grade-sharp details, blazing luster, and the absence of scratches can all elevate the coin into rare territory. The story of the 1994 nickel is ultimately about possibility. is about how something small and overlooked can hold enormous potential. It teaches patience, attention to detail, and respect for history. And it captures the excitement of treasure hunting in everyday life. So, the next time you come across a nickel from the 1990s, don't dismiss it too quickly. Take a closer look at that 1994 issue, check the details, and remember that hidden among the billions, there are coins that have shocked the collecting world with their rarity and condition. When the right one comes along, it's not just worth 5 cents. It's a piece of history that can command anywhere from $45,000 to $122,500. That's the magic of coin collecting, and that's why the 1994 Jefferson nickel has earned its place among modern treasures. The U.S. 2015 5-cent coin, more commonly known as the Jefferson nickel, might look like just another everyday coin you'd expect to find in your pocket or loose change. Millions of them were minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, making it one of the most common modern nickels. But hidden among those millions are rare and unusual varieties that have caught the attention of collectors worldwide, transforming an ordinary nickel worth 5 cents into a collector's treasure worth thousands. In fact, some examples have sold for prices ranging between $35,000 and $99,500 depending on condition, rarity, and the specific type of error. Stories like these make even the most ordinary coin hunt feel like a treasure hunt. The Jefferson nickel has been part of U.S. coinage since 1938, designed by Felix Schlag to replace the Buffalo nickel. On the obverse, it features the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson, while the reverse since 2004 has depicted a series of changing designs to commemorate different parts of Jefferson's legacy and Monticello. By 2015, the reverse had returned to the classic Monticello design, a tribute to Jefferson's home in Virginia. While the design itself was not unusual that year, what makes the 2015 nickel special are the rare minting errors and variations that slipped past quality control and ended up in circulation. These rare pieces are what elevate a 5-cent coin into the realm of high-value collectibles. One of the most fascinating errors collectors chase is the doubled die. When the hub imprints the coin design onto the die more than once at slightly different angles, the resulting coin shows doubling that can be visible to the naked eye. For the 2015 Jefferson nickel, doubling has been reported in areas like "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and even Jefferson's profile itself. Strong doubling can be incredibly dramatic, and the clearer and bolder it is, the higher the value of the coin. Collectors who have found such varieties in uncirculated condition have seen their coins jump from pocket change to tens of thousands of dollars at auction. Off-center strikes are another highly collectible error. This happens when the blank planchet is not perfectly aligned during the striking process, causing the design to be shifted noticeably off the coin's center. Depending on how severe the shift is, the value can rise dramatically. For instance, a 2015 nickel that struck 50% off-center but still shows the date clearly is an exceptional find. These coins are visually stunning, and because they're relatively rare, they can easily fall into that $35,000 to $99,500 value range when found in pristine condition. Clipped planchets are also worth mentioning. If the metal sheet used to create coin blanks is misfed into the press, blanks can overlap during punching, resulting in a coin with a missing crescent-shaped portion. For a modern coin like the 2015 nickel, these clips are not extremely common, and when collectors find clean, dramatic clips on nickels with clear dates and mint marks, the excitement is palpable. Combined with high grades, these error nickels can fetch impressive sums, with premium examples rising well beyond what most would ever expect from a 5-cent piece. Then there are wrong planchet strikes, which are among the most thrilling and valuable errors in numismatics. This happens when a coin design intended for one denomination is accidentally struck on a blank meant for another denomination. A 2015 Jefferson nickel struck on a dime or foreign coin planchet, for example, would immediately stand out for its weight, size, or coloration. These errors are exceedingly rare and can bring astronomical prices at auction. With professional grading and authentication, these wrong planchet errors have sold for values that push deep into the $99,500 bracket, making them some of the most exciting finds for collectors in recent years. Another variety that fascinates collectors is the die clash error. This happens when the coin dies strike each other without a planchet between them, transferring faint outlines of one die's design onto the other. When coins are later struck, These ghost-like impressions show up in unusual places. A 2015 nickel with visible clash marks can be a conversation piece for collectors, and depending on the clarity of the clash and the coin's grade, such examples can also command significant premiums. Proof versions of the 2015 Jefferson nickel also add to the intrigue. Proof coins are struck in San Francisco with specially polished dies and planchets to produce mirror-like surfaces and sharp details. While they're intended for collectors and not circulation, even proof nickels can have errors. A 2015 proof nickel with doubling, a strike-through from debris, or other unusual anomalies could be an incredible find. Because proof errors are so rare, collectors compete fiercely for them, and their values skyrocket when they appear on the market. Condition is the single most important factor in determining value after rarity. A circulated 2015 nickel with a minor error may only bring in a few $100s, but uncirculated examples with dramatic, eye-catching errors are where the big money comes in. Coins graded MS-67 or higher are particularly scarce, and when combined with strong errors, they become extremely valuable. The very top auction results for 2015 nickels with rare variations have landed squarely in that $35,000 to $99,500 range, proof that even modern coins can change the lives of their owners. The thrill of this coin story lies in how unsuspecting it appears. The 2015 nickel is still so common in circulation today that people rarely pay attention to them. Yet stories abound of collectors and even ordinary people discovering extraordinary examples while searching through bank rolls, coin jars, or pocket change. These discoveries often lead to jaw-dropping revelations when coins are sent for grading and authentication, confirming that a simple 5-cent piece is actually worth tens of thousands of dollars. Such stories fuel the passion of the hobby, inspiring people everywhere to look more closely at the coins they handle every day. Auction houses have documented incredible results with modern Jefferson nickels, especially from years like 2015 where dramatic errors are involved. Collectors know how rare these errors are and will go to great lengths to secure them for their collections. Competition drives prices upward, and that's how a coin that began as a small piece of change can eventually cross the auction block for nearly $100,000. The legacy of the Jefferson nickel is stronger than ever with finds like the 2015 rare errors. It shows us that coin collecting isn't just about the past or centuries-old coins. Modern minting still creates opportunities for surprises, and those surprises can be worth a small fortune. The key is awareness. Knowing what to look for, examining coins carefully, and verifying finds through trusted grading services can transform a nickel into a financial windfall. The 2015 Jefferson nickel teaches us an important lesson. Value is not always obvious. In a world where so many people overlook coins as insignificant, collectors know that the smallest details, a shifted strike, a doubled word, a clipped edge, can mean the difference between 5 cents and $99,500. The excitement comes from the possibility that the next nickel you pull from your pocket could be one of those rare treasures. So the next time you find yourself with a handful of change, take a closer look at the nickels. That 2015 coin could be more than just another 5 cents. It could be your ticket to a story, a legacy, and a value ranging from $35,000 to $99,500. That's the magic of coin collecting. The ordinary transforms into the extraordinary, and the everyday can hold life-changing value if you only take the time to notice.